So Conor McGregor is starting to lose a little bit of his luster, I guess, if you will, in Ireland. I'm gonna read this article. This is the BBC. Kind of goes into why a little bit. If you hadn't heard already that he was charged with a crime, he was acquitted of the crime, but then, of course, as with 90% of these, probably more, of these crimes that are accused against a celebrity, they go after them civilly after because they always get the money. Seems to be what I don't understand. I just don't understand. They can't criminally charge them, but they can go after their pocketbook. Whatever. I'm not a big fan of Conor McGregor anyway, but okay. So people want nothing to do with him. How Ireland turned away from Conor McGregor. The fight game awaits. Conor McGregor proclaimed to his millions of social media followers on Tuesday, while retailers pulled products linked to him from shelves. Murals of him were erased and brands announced they had cut ties. It followed a 12-person jury in Dublin finding McGregor guilty of assault in a civil case brought by Nikita Hand, who accused him of penis pushing her at a Dublin hotel in December of 2018. She was awarded nearly 250,000, I guess that's euros. Yeah, 250,000 euros in damages. In a social media post, McGregor said he would appeal the decision. Really? It's 250 grand for you. I'm sure it's probably has that in walk around money. Just let it happen. Ms. Hand's case was one of the several legal issues and controversies that McGregor, one of Ireland's most famous athletes, has faced over the past few years. In 2018, he was arrested in New York for throwing a metal dolly at the window of a bus, which had a group of Ultimate Fighting Championship staff and athletes on board. A year later, he was convicted and fined $1,000 for punching a man who rejected his offer of a drink in a Dublin pub. That's a no-no in Ireland, by the way. I had a little story about my brother, my late brother. I went to Ireland the one time, and he was in a bar, and one of the local guys, he was chatting him up at the bar or whatever, and he cheersed my brother. My brother didn't take a drink, and the guy got really aggressive in his face. He was ready to fight my brother. My brother was like, "What's going on?" And so I guess that guy realized, he's like, "Oh, maybe he doesn't know." So he explained to him the custom: when you cheer somebody in Ireland, you have to drink, or else you're saying you don't want to drink. I may have told this story before on the podcast, but so I can understand maybe why he punched this guy. This probably had something to do with that. He wouldn't take a drink from him. I don't know why he wouldn't take a drink unless he directly tried to hand you the drink and you thought he did a little something in it. But other than that, I'm gonna take a drink even from Conor McGregor, who I think is a bit of a dillhole. I'd still take a drink from him. Some commentators argue that support for McGregor within Ireland, where he'd been thought of as a trailblazer, has been dwindling for some time. But the shift after Miss Hand's civil case was seismic. Within a week, hundreds of supermarkets in both the UK and Ireland removed brands associated with him. Proximo Spirits, the company that bought McGregor's Proper No 12 whiskey brand in 2021, said it did not plan to use his name or likeliness in its marketing going forward. IO Interactive, the creators of the Hitman video game, said it would cease its collaboration with McGregor in light of the court ruling. Ireland's National Wax Museum also said it removed its figure of McGregor 2 weeks ago. He built his brand on his patriotism and brash persona, but the controversies surrounding him have turned some former supporters against him and become an increasing distraction from his career. Okay. Anyways. So I'm not going to read these two parts. This is just talking about his boxing and all. But here we go. So here's what sort of happened with the verdict. Miss Hand, a 35-year-old hair colorist, made a statement to Irish police in early 2019 alleging McGregor had penis pushed her. After an investigation into the claim, police referred the case to Ireland's Director of Public Prosecutors. Irish media reported on the allegations without naming McGregor, but news reports revealing him as a suspect emerged in the U.S. a few months later. The DPP decided not to criminally prosecute McGregor due to insufficient evidence. Okay, so well, she sued him for damages or whatever. This is disgusting to me. Okay, so some viewer discretion. I'm going to read something a little bit disturbing. It disturbed me when I read it. So Dr. Daniel Kane, a gynecologist and forensic examiner, told the court how he had to use forceps to remove a tampon Miss Hand said she had been wearing on the night of the assault, which had been wedged inside. Paramedic who examined Miss Hand on the day after the alleged attacks said she had not seen a patient as bruised as Miss Hand was in a long time. Okay. And then, of course, McGregor said they had athletic but consensual sex. So, okay. Right there, that kind of makes him seem like a liar. For one, unless she's shit ton drunk, why would she leave the tampon in if they're going to engage in coitus? Number one. The bruises and stuff like that, okay, if they are having like rigorous sex, there could be some bruises. I don't know how bad the bruises were. I didn't really investigate on that. But that alone with the tampon thing, that would scream to me that it was unwanted in some way. So, I don't know. And I'm trying not to put my personal feelings about Conor McGregor, who I think is a bit of a dill hole. I'm trying to leave that aside because I don't think you should do that when you're talking about stuff like this, because it may not be relevant. But I'm saying, I'm just saying, maybe. Anyways, so whatever. Looks like Conor is not the sweetheart of Ireland anymore. Maybe this is exaggerated. It is just the BBC being the BBC. Who knows? But yeah, if he isn't, well, good riddance. I think he's a douche anyway. So make way for someone else.